primary goal of my literature summer camps is to increase student literacy. And I don't mean literacy just in terms of being able to read a book, but being able to read a book and ask questions about a book and analyze those questions, find answers to those questions, collect evidence to support ideas related to a work of art, and then write those answers down in a clear and meaningful way. On top of that, if a student lacks passion about literature, if a student doesn't enjoy reading or reads only for school or the fact that it's required, I try to make instilling a love of reading a major component of the class so that students can develop some appreciation. Hopefully they can see things in a new way. They can understand the literature, the reading of literature in a new way, and really appreciate it. We've had a lot of success in the past. I don't say it just as a hopeful thing. This is really a class where students tend to enjoy themselves and come away from it with more passion than they came into it with. The writing in my classes is always based around students making arguments and being able to create responses to texts or art or any kind of argument in a logical, meaningful, clear way. I have a system that I follow. It's a three-part system, but usually we cover two parts of the three-part system. First, I have them identify evidence using a system I call SPICY, which is SPC, SBC, setting, plot, character, style, point of view, and context. And students basically use this to collect evidence, and then once they collect that evidence of the story, they can build arguments around it to consider what the author's purpose was and what the meaning of the story is. From there, there's a variety of different writing things that we can do, making arguments, but primarily focusing on writing perfect paragraphs, as I call it. Paragraphs that have all the information necessary to support a claim about the theme of the story and a thesis, creating a thesis and writing an essay, so that even though maybe in their lives students will not spend a lot of time writing about literature, if they do ever need to do any writing for any purpose, the work that they'll do here should serve to support any writing that they'll ever have to do for the rest of their lives. In addition to the analytical writing that the students are going to be doing, they will also be doing some creative writing as well. That's part of the passion, or instilling the passion, is getting students to be comfortable with expressing themselves and understanding the value of expressing yourself and expressing and appreciating when other people are expressing their emotions and their points of view. So that's another part of the creative writing is another part of it. It's probably 75 to 80% analytical writing and then 20% creative writing. For the first week, students will be reading A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's a story I find it's one of my favorite fantasy novels of all time. It's got a lot of literary merit. Unlike a lot of young adult fiction, this story's got a lot of backbone and a lot of really rich, meaningful themes. And for the second week, we're going to read Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, which is a story of an African tribe at the turn of 19th to 20th centuries. Both of these are complete classics. They're really interesting and exciting for students to read. And but I have a large number more, so that if we have a number of students who happen to have read those stories, we can change to different stories as well. I have a vast amount of lessons and plans, so everything is flexible in that regard. That's an interesting question, because really in any of my classes, I try to make sure that students are not only focusing on a particular subject, but they're building their own, like I said in the first message, that they're building their own appreciation for things, that they're able to act on their own, they're able to dig more deeply without being prompted. That students learn a little bit of self-motivation and self-confidence to analyze and to imagine and to infer and to take the next step rather than only do what is presented to them in front of them. And that's not easy for a lot of students. That's not easy for a lot of people in general. And so I try to nurture that in my classrooms and give students a place where they can feel comfortable to imagine, make mistakes, and go to the next. Another way to put that is that students, when they take my classes, are hopefully learning to be self-motivated and self-confident in exploring their own ideas and putting their own ideas into actions. I provide plenty of assignments. We have plenty of assignments and plenty of guided tasks and guided goals. But as a part of all of my classes, I always try to make self-motivation and something that's student-produced is part of the major focus of all of my classes, and especially with the literature classes and student analysis there. In the writing workshop, students are going to have a writing assignment every day with the focus of having a completed essay by the end of the week, in addition to smaller writing assignments during the week. So we're going to focus on having a final full-sized essay of 3 to 5 pages on a particular topic related to the novel. But then we'll work on that every day in addition to smaller journaling and creative writing assignments. And then we will together discuss, I will give feedback on the assignments, and then together we will discuss student efforts as well. And that's in addition to the reading that the students will have to do every day.